Hello everybody, I know it's been a minute since I've posted. If you have been following us for a while, you will probably notice that I have a habit of doing that. I'll be active and then I'll kind of go away for a little bit and then I'll come back. There's a reason for that. There's always a reason for something, right? So really quickly, I want to talk about that. And then we're going to move on. Sebastian has surgery coming up. I want to update you on that. He has a couple of other procedures later on in the year and early next year. So let's just get into it really quickly. On our most recent video, one of the most top comments that I received was, why do you care what so many people think? Why do you explain yourself before you do something? Let me tell you something. We get so much hate. So much hate. We've had people send hate mail to our home. People have found my phone number somehow, sent me terrible messages, prank phone calls. I mean, you think of it, it's probably happened to us. People go and make fake profiles of us and start rumors about us, and they wish death on Sebastian. I mean, the things that have happened to us is, you wouldn't even believe me if I began to share all of it. So I speak the way that I do on purpose to protect our family, because social media can make or break you overnight. It can open a lot of doors for you and it can close some doors very, very quickly. And people, just random, of course, trolls on the internet, really, really love to bring hurtful, hateful harm our way, believe it or not. So over time, I have learned that I had to reteach myself to speak in a way that protects our family. Everything I do or say, I explain, because I don't want to give anybody an opportunity to create something that is false. So it's not so much that I care what people say. I just want to speak in a way that I know my family is protected. Now, even with all of that being said, I know that somebody still is going to comment on this video and say, well, if you don't want the opinions of others, why do you put yourselves out there? And I have an answer for you. Last month, we actually hit 1 million views on YouTube. Again, if you've been following me for a while, you know that I am not that person who cares about social media numbers. When I started sharing Sebastian's story, there were 300 people who followed us, and it was all family and friends. Now, with that being said, there are 1 million extra people in this world now who know what Cornelia DeLange is. They know who Sebastian is, and we are making a difference in the special needs community. So yes, being on social media brings in a ton of hurtful things sometimes, but 1 million extra people know about his diagnosis. And I can't not talk about all of the good it's brought us, all of the people we've met. We've met other families with Cornelia DeLange syndrome that we obviously would have never met if we weren't on social media. And I will say this, for every one mean, hateful comment, there are probably 250 good ones. So it's not all bad. I just wanted to take a second to be like, hey, I don't really care what you think, but I am going to speak in a way that keeps us safe. So with all that being said, let's move on. Let's get into the health update. I know you're here to see Sebastian, so let me go get him. Sebastian is supposed to be napping right now, but as you can see, he is not. So I'm gonna go get him. Puppy, what's going on? I'm not gonna show his face, but people always ask if Sebastian ever cries. Yeah, he cries. Honey? What happened? Are you crying for real or faking? Real or fake? That is a fake cry. We'll be back. I think somebody was just a little hungry. What are you freaking out for? You hungry? Got a little hangry there, huh? Couldn't even sleep over it. One more? You gotta open bigger than that. Hi, beautiful. One more? We originally got this jumper for Sebastian to jump in, but so far he just kind of hangs in it. I think we need to adjust it. Hi, baby. We need to adjust it a little bit because his legs are a little too long, it seems. Mama can't do it for you. You gotta do it too. Like this. Pick your head up. Up, up, up. Pick it up, 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 up. Come on, you can do it. Good job. That's lots of hard work, Mama. That's lots of hard work, Mama. We gotta do something with these straps. The fit isn't right. It's not supportive. He leans to the left and he's a little too tall. So yeah, Dad's gonna have to definitely make some adjustments to this. I will say this though, even though the positioning and the support isn't a 10 out of 10 for him, it really challenges him to use his muscles. Picking his head up like that is, I mean, that's incredible. Considering how tight his neck is, he has really bad muscle issues on the left side of his neck. So for him to be, hello, really trying to lift his head and hold it up so he can see what's in front of him, it's probably not comfortable, but it's good therapy, that's for sure. What are you doing, love bug? He says, Mom, I'm just hanging here. Can somebody help me? I think if Sebastian could talk, he would rate that experience a 2 out of 10. It's a good concept. It does not work. Yeah, we got to figure something out with the straps. So, surgery. When Sebastian was first born, he had heart surgery. I think he was 14 days old. It was either 11 days or 14 days old. He had heart surgery. Within a couple of weeks, that surgery, they placed some stents in his pulmonary artery. Those stents, fibrotic tissues grew through them, and basically the way that the doctors described it, it's like having your fence and then weeds and grass growing through it. It creates a blockage. So something can't get directly through those holes in the fence because there's weeds there. Same thing happened with Sebastian's pulmonary artery. They placed stents to open it and tissue grew in there. So blood flow could not go through. I hope that makes sense. Needless to say, the surgery technically failed. And within 2 or 3 days, Sebastian was even sicker than he was before, because now his body was not only recovering from heart surgery, but now fighting even harder to get blood flow through all of the mess that was just created in surgery. Within a couple of days after that first heart surgery, he got very, very sick again, and he ended up back into the pediatric heart unit, where he stayed for 101 days until he finally came home. So he had the first heart surgery, he was 14 days old, and then the second heart surgery was about 3 weeks later. That surgery ended up being the one to stabilize him, and he was able to recover, and then they were able to do scans on his brain, discover his diagnosis with CDLS and get information on that, hearing tests, vision tests, all that stuff happened when he was recovering from his second heart surgery. Now, those first 2 heart surgeries were what the doctors like to call band-aids. They were not permanent fixes. But at the time, Sebastian was premature. I had him, I believe, 34 weeks and 2 days. Not to mention, he was only 3 pounds. He was very, very, very tiny and very sick. So those 2 heart surgeries that he had originally were just done to stabilize him and to basically keep him alive until he could have his total correction, which he ended up having at 3 months old. That was in March of 2018. He had this big reconstruction of the pulmonary artery. At that time, after Sebastian had that third surgery and we were able to go home, we went home knowing that Sebastian would need a 4th heart surgery around the time that he was 4 or 5 years old. And Sebastian's gonna be 5 in 1 month. So while surgery is stressful, we knew that it was coming. So let's talk about Sebastian's heart. Sebastian has a VSD, which is a ventricular septal defect. It's a hole in the heart. That was corrected. There's still a tiny hole, but for the most part, that was corrected around 3 months of age. He also has tetralogy of Fallot, which is lack of oxygen in the blood. So when he was a lot younger, he would have blue spells where he would literally he would turn blue. Oxygen was not getting in his blood, and that is just a part of tetralogy of Fallot diagnosis. One of Sebastian's biggest heart defects is pulmonary stenosis. Pulmonary stenosis is the narrowing of the pulmonary valve, which controls blood flow from the heart's right ventricle into the pulmonary artery. The pulmonary artery is responsible for carrying blood to the lungs. Sebastian's pulmonary artery was way too narrow, so they went in and they widened it. Sebastian also has a heart defect called double outlet right ventricle. Double outlet right ventricle is when the pulmonary artery and the aorta, the heart's two major arteries, both connect to the right ventricle. In a normal heart, the pulmonary artery connects to the right ventricle and the aorta connects to the left. It creates a problem because the right ventricle carries oxygen-poor blood, which then gets circulated into the body. When a child is born with double outlet right ventricle, they always also have a ventricular septal defect. This is a hole in the tissue wall that normally separates the right and the left ventricles. The VSD allows oxygen-rich blood to pass from the left ventricle to the aorta and the pulmonary artery. So basically, Sebastian, his right ventricles were messed up, so good blood and bad blood were mixing, and his body just wasn't getting enough of the correct type of blood going into his body. The type of correction for this type of heart defect is basically the surgeon goes in and he places a patch over the hole, and then he creates a tunnel to connect the aorta to the left ventricle and the pulmonary artery to the right ventricle. This correction was already done for Sebastian when he was 3 months old and does not need to be corrected again. The surgery that's coming up will just be a widening of the pulmonary artery again to make sure he's getting enough blood flow to his body. All of this to say and explain that when Sebastian had that third surgery when he was 3 months old, they went into the pulmonary artery and they opened it up and they widened it. They totally reconstructed his pulmonary artery to create good, positive, healthy blood flow to support his body. But when they did that reconstruction, he was 3 pounds and 15 inches tall. Now Sebastian was close to 20 pounds. He lost a little bit of weight right now because his body is so tired because it needs heart surgery. But he has gained weight and he's gotten taller. So the size of his heart and his body and his weight isn't what it was, obviously, when he was 3 months old, which is why they have to go in and do another correction now, basically to correct the heart to support the body that he's in now. So we knew that he would need heart surgery around this time. It doesn't change the fact that it's still scary. It doesn't change the fact that Sebastian is very, very sensitive to sedation and intubation, which is the breathing tube. When he has surgery and he's so sleepy, it's hard for him to wake up and get going and breathe and support himself. So every single surgery, of course, no matter how big or small, it's scary. So while we have had time to prepare for this surgery, it's still hard. And I just pray, you can probably hear Nala in the back. I just pray that it goes well. I just want him to be healthy and recover before Thanksgiving and Christmas so he can spend the holidays at home this year and not in a hospital. We follow up with cardiology a week from today, actually. And during that appointment, they're going to look at his heart, do an echo, EKG, all of that. And then next Thursday, we will pick a date to do surgery. Sebastian's birthday is October 3rd. So I'm hoping that we can plan it for after his birthday, maybe the second week of October. So hopefully that gives him time at home to enjoy his 5th birthday. And then he'll have surgery and hopefully be recovered by the time the holidays come around. By the way, I'm pretty sure he's asleep because I wrapped his hand because he's chewing on it. And I think he's been asleep this whole time. Are you okay? No? Leave you alone? Sebastian is very sleepy these days. He's sleeping anywhere from 12 to 16 hours a day, which is not typical for him, nor probably recommended. But because the lawn guys are pulling up. We're gonna have to go inside. It's about to get loud. Sorry guys, the family we have hired to cut our lawn for the last year now. It's a family-owned business, in case anybody is wondering. They just showed up to cut the grass, so I'm out of breath because I had to bring everything inside. But what I was saying is that Sebastian is very sleepy these days. He's sleeping 12 to 16 hours because his heart is tired, which makes his body tired. His heart is in overdrive, just trying to keep him comfortable. The doctors kind of compare it to an adult having a really, like a 4-hour workout every single day. Sebastian's exhausted. So while surgery is scary, always, he needs it. And we're ready for it. We're prepared. We had time to prepare this time. All of his other surgeries were on a life or death basis. So this is really different for us, having time to mentally prepare. I will know next Thursday what date his actual surgery is going to be, and I will definitely keep you guys updated on that. It's going to get pretty noisy in here because of the lawnmower. Guys, outside is very loud, and as you saw, Sebastian is already trying to fall asleep, so I'm going to get him some dinner, I'm going to give him a bath, and I'm going to put him to bed. And I'm sure I'll make a video before his heart appointment next week, but if I don't, I promise that I will update you guys on how he's doing, when surgery is going to be, what that's going to look like. You're going to come with us for the whole ride. So thank you for being here. I'll grab Sebastian so you can say goodnight to him. Hi, Bobby. Mama took your hand away, huh? You okay? He's trying to get that hand out of there. Can you say goodnight to everybody? I think he's gonna have some beans and tortillas for dinner. And then we're gonna do a nice little bath, little lotion on those feet, seizure meds, and then he's gonna go to bed. So we will catch you guys on the next one.